A few years back, gave the kids a chance to each pick an item for our Thanksgiving feast that year that we would then prepare and make together. By the end of the day, we sat down to eat much, much later than we had thought we should. There was flour and food and a mess all over the kitchen. But when we sat down at the table, each kid made a point to say, "Did you try that thing? I made it. I helped." And there was this sense of ownership and pride that came with the dish that they had prepared, and there was great joy in celebrating that gift. But the mess was everywhere. It was on our faces and in our hair and on the cabinets. As we celebrate this Thanksgiving, it looks different. We're in the middle of a big mess. And we want it to be over. We want to be able to sit down and enjoy the meal and reflect back on the memories of everything that this experience has made us into. But it seems like every time we turn around, there is another blow to our knees to bring us low. Now, a few years ago, my mom and dad gave me this chef shirt for Christmas. And I think over the years, perhaps maybe it has shrunk a little bit. It couldn't possibly be that the COVID hibernation weight is making it more snug than it should be. But it's a good reminder that things aren't the way that they were. Things are different. And that as we celebrate this year, the table looks different. The chairs that were filled last year may not be this year. We may have to wait to be able to see those that we love. But we know that this is the middle of the mess. We are in the middle of the great meal being prepared before our eyes. And sometimes we can't see what the end product will turn out to be. Sometimes it is beyond our imagination. But this is hard. Perhaps you've burned your hand on the stove, or maybe the turkey is a little bit drier than you hoped it would be. The Apostle Paul writes in Romans chapter 8, beginning in the 18th verse, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to corruption and obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for adoptions as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what he sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know what to pray as we ought. But the Spirit himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. And he who searches hearts knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who were called according to his purpose. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. And those whom he predestined, he also called, and those whom he called, he also justified, and those whom he justified, he also glorified. While we wait for the meal to be finished, being prepared, and our bellies groan, and our bodies ache, and our hearts cry out for peace, we have hope in knowing that God promises to give us everything that we need in our daily bread, that he conforms and crafts us into the image of himself through his Son, and that the hope that we bear comes not from us, but directly from God himself, as his Spirit works within us to speak the things that are too deep for us to even utter. So as we give thanks this year, not just today, but every day, let us give thanks in the midst of trials and temptations, tribulations, sorrows, and struggles, as we look to the one who is the author and perfecter of our faith, and the foundation for the hope that we have in Jesus. Amen.